Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Have you ever stopped to think about how we actually put a price tag on mental health? Today, we're breaking down a really fascinating perspective from the SQSF Counseling Center on exactly that, how we value our children's mental well-being. We're looking at source material that directly challenges how parents perceive the cost of mental health care, and it does it by making some incredibly compelling comparisons. So if you've ever wondered how to weigh the cost of psychological support against standard physical health care, well, this analysis is going to lay that out perfectly for us. 1 hour of counseling for 1,500 taka? Why so much? We are starting right there, with that very familiar, let's face it, very relatable objection that the source material tackles head-on. Right out of the gate, the text addresses this reaction. And it's a completely natural response when you're looking at a seemingly abstract service. You can't just hold a counseling session in your hand like a bottle of antibiotics, so the value isn't always immediately obvious. The authors know this is the primary barrier for folks, and they use this exact quote to pivot into a deep dive on how we actually assign value to our kids' overall health.
To really unpack that hesitation, the source asks us to look at physical versus mental health. The text points out a pretty stark reality. Think about it. If a child has a physical issue, say a severe fever or, heaven forbid, a heart or kidney problem, parents are fully prepared to spend 15,000 to 20,000 taka, or honestly, sometimes even more. We spend this money on blood tests, specialist doctors, medication, and we do it almost without a second thought. When the physical body is under threat, the wallet opens automatically, right? Because the danger is visible and it's deeply, deeply understood.
And that right there highlights this wild cognitive dissonance we all seem to have. We'll drain our accounts heavily and without hesitation for physical health issues like fevers or kidney problems. But then we pause. We hesitate when it comes to investing in the brain, the mind, the character, and the confidence that literally builds a child's entire future. We really have to ask ourselves about this imbalance. Why is the physical body an automatic, unquestioned expense while the mind is somehow treated as an optional luxury?
So why do we hesitate to invest in the very foundation of our child's mind and future? It's a huge question. The brain is what dictates the child's behavior, their resilience, and their eventual success in life. Yet, the text points out there is a clear psychological block when parents are asked to pay for its maintenance and development.
Well, to demystify where that 1,500 taka fee actually comes from, let's explore the integrated counseling process.
Listen, the source makes it emphatically clear this is not just a simple chat or some generic advice. Honestly, that's a huge misconception. What we're actually talking about is a highly comprehensive problem analysis and solution framework. And the real game changer here is that it involves the child, the mother, and the father all together in one session. It's a holistic family intervention, rather than just isolating the kid in a room for an hour and hoping for the best.
Now, what's mind-blowing here is the sheer volume of ground they cover in just one single session. The text breaks down exactly what you are getting, detailing 7 foundational points. They assess the child's behavior and mindset, sure, but they also don't shy away from analyzing the parent's mistakes and potential blind spots. They evaluate how the marital relationship is impacting the child, they look at the educational environment, and vitally today, the social and digital influences, screen time and all that. From there, they move right into realistic solution planning and crafting a family future action plan. They are effectively auditing the entire ecosystem of that child's life in one sitting. This builds a completely different paradigm, which brings us to the doctor versus counselor dynamic. Okay, so a medical doctor is absolutely essential, obviously, but the text points out that they primarily treat a very specific, isolated physical problem. If your throat hurts, they fix your throat. But an SQSF counselor? They are playing a whole different ballgame. They are analyzing a complex web all at the same time. They have to evaluate the child's mindset, the ongoing family dynamics, educational pressures, social and digital impacts, and future life management simultaneously to find the actual root cause of distress. It is an incredibly multifaceted analysis.
So considering all of that multi-layered intervention, we have to talk about the true value of this service.
Here's the real kicker. According to the source material, the actual market value of this incredibly comprehensive service is over 5,000 taka. But to make this accessible, SQSF actually prices it at 1,500 taka. That's a massive 3,500 taka discount. They are intentionally absorbing a large chunk of the cost so that more families can get this timely, vital guidance before small behavioral hiccups turn into permanent, life-altering problems down the road.
And here is why this matters so much. A correct decision today can change the next 20 to 30 years of your child's life. Just think about that time frame. A physical bug might knock a kid out of commission for a week or two, but their behavioral and mental foundation, the source argues that a guided, correct decision made right now can fundamentally change the trajectory of the next 2 to 3 decades of that person's life.
Because of that massive long-term impact, SQSF explicitly urges us to totally rewire how we view this cost. Quote, "This is not an expense, it is an investment for your child's future." It's such a crucial distinction. An expense is just money gone, but an investment, that's planting a seed that yields returns for literally decades in the form of a healthy, well-adjusted, successful adult.
So for families wanting to actually utilize this integrated approach, the source provides some clear next steps. Advanced scheduling at the SQSF Counseling Center in Smart Library is strictly required, which totally makes sense given how deep these sessions go. You can set that up by calling them at 0176-4444-731 or just by hopping onto their website at sqsf.org to lock in a time.
All right, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to really chew on based on today's material. When we look at our own budgets and our own priorities, are we truly valuing our children's mental foundation as highly as their physical health? Next time you find yourself hesitating to invest in mental well-being, just remember that 15,000 taco we drop on a fever and a heartbeat and ask yourself, what is the peace of mind for the next 30 years really worth? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.